Before the rise of online shopping and big box stores, shopping in America felt like an event, a ritual woven into daily life rather than a chore or a quick errand. Stores were smaller, more personal, and often family-owned, giving every visit a sense of intimacy and community. Walking down the streets of any town or city in the 1960s or 1970s, shoppers were greeted by familiar faces, greeted by name, and sometimes even offered advice on the best products or recipes. There was a rhythm to the shopping experience that connected people to their neighborhoods, to their local economy, and to each other. It wasn't just about purchasing items, it was about the act of discovery, browsing, and interacting with the storekeeper and other shoppers. Every trip to the store held the potential for a small adventure, whether it was spotting a new candy, finding a limited edition toy, or simply exchanging a few friendly words with someone you knew from the block. Shopping was a social and sensory experience, filled with textures, smells, and the hustle and bustle of life around you. Chapter 1. Local stores with personality. Unlike the homogeneous chains that dominate today, local stores in the 1970s had character. Each store carried its own selection of goods, carefully curated by the owner or manager who knew the tastes and needs of their community. A trip to the corner grocery store wasn't simply about buying bread or milk, it was an experience of engagement. You'd walk in and immediately be greeted by someone who remembered your preferences, offered suggestions, or even gave you a small sample of something new. The store itself was a reflection of the community, its shelves stocked with local favorites, seasonal produce, and products chosen to fit the people it served. This personalization created loyalty, trust, and a sense of belonging, making shopping feel like a moment to connect rather than a mechanical task to complete. Beyond just the goods on the shelves, these stores offered unexpected discoveries that made each trip unique. You might stumble upon a new type of candy or a colorful kitchen gadget you hadn't seen before. Salesmen and shopkeepers were often part of the neighborhood's social fabric, telling stories, recommending products, or sharing news about what was happening locally. This human touch transformed a mundane task into a delightful exploration, engaging the senses and the imagination. Children tagging along could marvel at displays or linger near the candy counter, while adults might chat for a moment with neighbors and friends. Every shopping trip became an event, a blend of necessity, curiosity, and community interaction that made the act of purchasing something feel significant and memorable. Chapter 2. Department stores as destinations. Department stores in the 1960s and 1970s were not just places to buy goods, they were destinations. These stores offered a wide array of products under one roof, from clothing and shoes to home goods and electronics, arranged in an inviting and navigable layout. Shoppers could wander for hours, exploring different departments, discovering new products, and enjoying the visual displays that were carefully curated to entice and inspire. Storefront windows were an art form in themselves, especially during the holidays, with elaborate scenes and lights that made walking by a treat for children and adults alike. Shopping here was a form of entertainment, a way to spend time, and a cultural experience rather than just a means to an end. Inside the department store, attentive staff were available to offer assistance, often providing personalized recommendations or tailoring services to customer needs. Unlike today's impersonal self-service model, there was a strong emphasis on human interaction. Shoppers felt seen and valued, and that connection enhanced the overall experience. Special events, in-store demonstrations, and seasonal promotions gave people reasons to return, reinforcing the idea that shopping was a ritual to be savored. The department store was a place where consumers could dream, plan, and even escape briefly from the routines of daily life, making each visit a memorable experience that went far beyond the simple act of buying products. Chapter 3. The Joy of Window Shopping. Window shopping in the 1970s was an art form and a source of excitement. Streets were lined with stores that made their displays inviting, eye-catching, and often whimsical. Shoppers, young and old, would pause to admire the creative arrangements, imagining how a new outfit might look or picturing their homes transformed by the latest decor. This practice was not about instant gratification or online carts. It was about inspiration, anticipation, and the joy of imagining possibilities. Children pressed their noses to glass, marveling at toys, while adults studied fashion trends or dreamed of luxuries they might acquire in the future. The windows were carefully designed to tell a story, to evoke emotion, and to engage the senses, turning even a casual stroll into a captivating experience. Window shopping also encouraged a slower pace of life, allowing people to appreciate craftsmanship, design, and creativity. Unlike today's fast digital scroll, which provides instant access to everything at once, window shopping required observation, patience, and imagination. Shoppers would linger, discuss, and sometimes plan future purchases based on what they saw. This built a connection between the consumer and the product, adding value to the act of shopping itself. Each display was a narrative, an invitation to dream, and a shared experience among those who walked the streets, making retail an event that blended commerce, culture, and community in a way that is largely missing today. Chapter 4: Seasonal and Local Goods. Shopping in the 1970s also had a natural rhythm dictated by the seasons and the local environment. Fresh produce was often sourced locally, meaning fruits and vegetables were only available when they were in season, creating anticipation and appreciation for their arrival. Bakeries, butcher shops, and small markets offered specialties that reflected local tastes, recipes, and traditions. The rotation of seasonal goods gave shopping a cyclical quality, where each month and each season brought new delights, flavors, and experiences to discover. Consumers weren't overwhelmed by a year-round abundance of everything. They savored what was fresh, available, and special in that moment. This seasonal focus also fostered a closer connection to the food and products being purchased. Shoppers developed a deeper understanding of quality, value, and taste, often building relationships with suppliers and producers. The act of purchasing wasn't just transactional, it was participatory, an engagement with the environment, the community, and the cycle of life. Children could learn about fruits and vegetables, the changing seasons, and the importance of fresh ingredients, while adults could plan meals and activities around what was available, integrating shopping into the rhythm of family and community life. The result was a shopping experience that was both practical and emotionally satisfying, enriching daily life in ways that modern, impersonal retail often cannot replicate. Chapter 5: The Rise of Malls as Social Hubs. By the late 1960s and throughout the 1970s, shopping malls became more than just a collection of stores. They emerged as social destinations that drew entire families and groups of friends. Unlike today, where malls are often utilitarian spaces dominated by chain stores, these early malls were designed to create a sense of community and leisure. People didn't simply come to buy things, they came to see others, to be seen, and to spend time together. Walkways were wide, often decorated with planters, fountains, or seating areas, inviting visitors to stroll, linger, and converse. Teenagers gathered to meet friends, families spent hours exploring stores together, and elderly couples enjoyed casual walks while window shopping. The mall became a living, breathing microcosm of society, reflecting the rhythms and interactions of daily life. Inside these malls, anchor stores offered major attractions, while smaller specialty shops provided unique finds, ensuring there was something for everyone. Cafeterias, ice cream parlors, and soda fountains were strategically placed to keep shoppers engaged, giving people a reason to stay longer and socialize. The design and layout encouraged exploration and interaction, making the mall an experiential venue rather than a mere marketplace. Seasonal decorations, sales events, and in-mall performances contributed to the festive and engaging atmosphere. Malls fostered a sense of belonging and connection. Shoppers didn't just encounter products, they encountered people and experiences that reinforced social bonds and community identity. Chapter 6: The Thrill of Product Discovery. One of the defining aspects of shopping in the 1970s was the element of surprise and discovery. Unlike today's environment of mass-produced items and instant online availability, finding a new product required patience, exploration, and a sense of curiosity. Shoppers wandered through aisles, explored new stores, and sometimes stumbled upon items they hadn't planned to purchase. This sense of unpredictability made every shopping trip an adventure. Children and adults alike were drawn to new toys, gadgets, or household items, often imagining how they might use them in their daily lives. This engagement created emotional investment and genuine excitement, transforming mundane errands into meaningful experiences. The thrill of discovery also encouraged repeated visits. Shoppers would return frequently to see what was new, talk with shopkeepers, and learn about upcoming products or promotions. This pattern fostered a sense of loyalty and connection to the stores themselves, reinforcing the notion that shopping was not just transactional, but experiential. Products became stories. Each purchase carried memories, associations, and excitement that extended beyond the material item. The hunt for something unique or unexpected cultivated attentiveness, curiosity, and anticipation, contributing to a richer, more immersive shopping culture that is often absent in modern retail environments dominated by instant gratification and online algorithms. Chapter 7: Community and Neighborhood Retail. Local shopping districts were vital to the fabric of 1970s America, creating bonds between consumers and shopkeepers. Unlike the impersonal chains of today, neighborhood stores were intimately connected to their communities. Shop owners often knew multiple generations of families, and each visit reinforced social ties and mutual trust. This familiarity encouraged conversations, advice, and even small favors, making shopping a communal and interactive experience. It wasn't uncommon for a grocer to set aside a favorite item for a regular customer or for a shopkeeper to provide guidance on selecting a gift, recipe, or tool. These interactions reinforced a sense of belonging and established informal networks of social support within the community. Neighborhood retail also encouraged walking, social observation, and engagement with one's surroundings. Streets were alive with foot traffic, children playing, and neighbors exchanging greetings, creating a vibrant and dynamic public sphere. The act of shopping contributed to community cohesion, encouraging trust, cooperation, and shared experiences. Shoppers learned the rhythms of their neighborhoods, recognized familiar faces, and participated in local life in ways that extended far beyond commerce. The physical presence, social interaction, and relational knowledge embedded in these retail experiences provided a sense of security, comfort, and connection that modern, online-centric shopping struggles to replicate. Chapter 8: The Role of Holidays and Seasonal Events. Shopping in the 1970s was closely tied to holidays and seasonal rituals, giving each purchase a sense of timing and anticipation. Stores carefully prepared for Christmas, Thanksgiving, Easter, and back-to-school periods, turning shopping into an event rather than a routine. Holiday displays, special promotions, and in-store decorations created a sense of excitement and urgency, drawing families into immersive environments designed to celebrate the season. Children look forward to seeing animated window displays or discovering seasonal treats, while adults appreciated the organization and festive spirit of the stores. These events transformed the act of shopping into a shared experience that reinforced family bonds, community participation, and the cultural rhythms of life. Seasonal shopping also encouraged planning and foresight. Consumers learned to budget, anticipate needs, and prepare for upcoming celebrations. The cyclical nature of seasonal goods and promotions added structure and meaning to shopping trips. People didn't just buy for immediate consumption, they purchased with intention, considering the timing, utility, and impact of their choices. This created a sense of mindfulness and engagement with material culture that made each shopping experience significant, memorable, and socially connected, unlike the instant, on-demand culture of contemporary retail. Chapter 9: The Allure of Department Stores. Department stores in the 1970s were more than just places to purchase clothing or household items. They were destinations in themselves. Multi-story establishments offered a wide variety of products under one roof, from clothing and furniture to kitchen gadgets and cosmetics. The layout encouraged exploration, with elaborate window displays, seasonal decorations, and thematic sections that made every visit feel like a journey through a miniature world. Elevators, escalators, and wide aisles facilitated movement and discovery, and each floor often had its own unique character or specialty. For children, visiting a department store was an adventure. For adults, it was a chance to browse, compare, and indulge in the excitement of possibility. The department store created an environment where the act of shopping felt like theater, providing stimulation, inspiration, and enjoyment that extended far beyond the purchase itself. The combination of thoughtful presentation, variety, and customer service fostered a sense of importance and attention that made every shopper feel valued. Chapter 10. Personal service and human connection. One of the defining features of shopping in the 1970s was the human touch. Sales clerks, store managers, and cashiers were often familiar with regular customers, remembering their preferences, sizes, or past purchases. This personal service created relationships built on trust and mutual respect, encouraging repeat visits and long-term loyalty. Customers could ask for advice, receive recommendations, or even negotiate on certain items, which created a participatory and interactive shopping experience. Unlike today's automated and impersonal checkouts, the 1970s experience relied heavily on human interaction, allowing for warmth, connection, and a sense of community. The presence of real people who cared about the shopping experience made each trip meaningful, establishing connections that extended beyond the transaction and fostering a feeling of belonging and social cohesion. Chapter 11. Shopping as a cultural ritual. Shopping in the 1970s was interwoven with cultural practices and traditions. Trips to the store were not merely about acquiring goods, they were social rituals that reinforced family roles, gender expectations, and community norms. Women often managed the household shopping, planning meals, and budgeting with care, while children accompanied them, learning essential skills in decision-making, money management, and social etiquette. Men might participate in specialty shopping, such as purchasing tools, appliances, or vehicles, often with guidance or recommendations from sales staff. These rituals provided structure, shared purpose, and socialization opportunities, making shopping an educational and culturally embedded activity. Beyond practical needs, shopping reinforced social identity, family cohesion, and community values, embedding consumption into the broader fabric of daily life. Chapter 12. The decline of experiential shopping. As the 1980s approached, the landscape of American shopping began to change. Big box retailers, discount chains, and the rise of suburban sprawl shifted focus from experience to efficiency, convenience, and price competition. The communal, immersive, and socially engaging aspects of shopping started to fade, replaced by impersonal transactions, automated checkouts, and online catalogs. This transformation contributed to the loss of what made shopping special in the 1970s: the anticipation, human connection, discovery, and sense of occasion. Today, while shopping remains a necessity, much of the cultural and social richness of the past has been replaced by speed, standardization, and convenience. The contrast highlights how deeply intertwined retail experiences were with community, family, and culture in the 1970s, emphasizing that shopping was never just about buying things, it was about connection, discovery, and shared experience. If you enjoyed exploring the reasons shopping felt magical in the 1970s, make sure to subscribe to the channel for more deep dives into history and culture. Share your thoughts in the comments. What's your favorite memory of shopping back then, and what do you think modern retail is missing?